Hi guys, so I just wanted to take a tip from a mutual friend of mine and act out my faith through a different means of communication, a different translation, which is through video, which is different than the writing that I do, that I'm also much more comfortable with. But I wanted to just reiterate what I wrote in my blog post earlier this morning about what it means to acknowledge Christ as a king. I'll post the exact verses in the notes here, but what I really wanted to drive home was that I don't do well with authority. I don't like submission. You know, my mother was a strong, single, independent mother who raised me to make it on my own, to do things on my own, to not rely on a man to get things done, to not rely on anything. But I need, and she always drove this home as well, I need God. I need Christ in my life. And I came back to the Lord about 6 years ago. Many of you know I lost my grandmother this past October. And although that was such a tragedy and is still a very painful, sore, open wound for me, it has brought me immensely closer to Christ. It has helped my writing. It has helped my mother and I get closer, which is fantastic because I fall more in love with her every day. She is just such a light in my life. But it's been a different sort of rock bottom for me. And in the verse, it acknowledges Christ as King, but then also as the everlasting rock. And I need to build my foundation on the Rock of Ages. And he promises that he won't leave me. He won't leave me alone. He will not forsake me. And 1,000 other promises about being with me. And all I have to do is surrender. And it's as simple and as hard as that. Surrender. There's a side of me that can be a very stubborn German, independent woman who will do anything to avoid surrendering, and to avoid conflict, sometimes even. And I have to realize that there is still a daily conflict within my soul and within my mind of, am I going to submit to God today? Am I going to trust? Am I going to have the faith? Am I going to live out my life in a way that proves that God is real, that he exists, that I believe in him, that I am living proof of his grace and mercy. So, circling back to this idea of a king, I don't know what it's like to have a king. I don't live in Britain, although I would dearly love to. I know what it's like to have members of a cabinet above me, politicians, even a president, and at least in America, I have the freedom to disagree and to speak out and to publicly say, I don't agree with this and this is why, and to protest. I mean, in my life, I have been on the streets of New York City protesting with a sign in my hand. I've been in Philadelphia protesting. I've been in DC protesting. But more recently, I haven't been, well, because of COVID, but also I haven't been as vocal or even following the news as much anymore, because it is painful. There's a lot wrong right now. But truth be told, there is a lot of good to be found. There are moments of beauty and splendor and simple acts of kindness that we can hold on to. But at the end of the day, I need to surrender my life, my mind, my body, my soul, my emotions, my actions to Christ. I need to submit to his authority, because he is the only one who lived a perfect life, conquered sin and death, spoke all of creation into being, and then sit back and enjoy the sublime that he shows me if I am only willing to look for it. There are many times I've been checked out, just looking at my phone, scrolling through my social media pages. I've been distracted or self-medicating by numbing out, even just emotionally, mentally, especially through social media. But I believe we live in a world now that is so technologically advanced, and we have the opportunity to connect with people, but we have to do so authentically and meaningfully and with purpose. And that purpose is why I'm doing this video, is because I want to connect in any way, shape, or form that I can with others to spread the message of Christ and what a difference his love, mercy, and redemption has made in my life. And so I realized that God can't do anything with me if I'm not willing to be molded and shaped and transformed by him. That would be like a piece of clay being thrown on the potter's wheel and saying, I'm not going to be a vase. I'm not going to be anything because I want to remain this lump of clay. And that's that. And I'm putting up my fists and yelling at you and saying, I'm not changing. But we have to change in order to continue moving forward. Things have to happen in our own lives. We need periods of self-reflection and the times when we ask ourselves the hard questions of, what do I really believe? What is this life really all about? How do I find my purpose? And you know, those are hard questions. Those are dark moments of the soul. those are frankly scary. And yet, if you've accepted Christ as your Savior, there is a hope there. There is a means of deliverance. There is a way through the darkness and through the forests and through the valleys of our lives. And so I have a King who loves me enough in my mess to be there with me. But there is also promises of joy and fulfillment and so much on the other side of that simple act of submission. And I know a lot of people have church wounds. And I don't want to dissuade them from Christ by saying, oh, I'm fixed, I've gotten through, I've worked through my issues, I've done X, Y, and Z, and now everything's fantastic, you know, because that's not the truth. There are some hard things that I'm facing in my life right now, but submitting to Christ has given me the power, the freedom, the ability, and the resources not only to make the best out of bad situations, but to find joy that much greater in the good times as well. So this is my first time ever doing a video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My rating is on my blog post, which is heatherbush.com, and I would love to have a dialogue with you about it if you're so inclined. So have a wonderful night, and I guess I'll see you next time.